lies that are meant to divide us, and that division. We are here to worship facts and reject the lies that are meant to divide us, and that division keeps us from joy. And so since we are the secular mega church of joy, we are all about pushing back against the hate and lies and manipulation and division that is being created for us by the global authoritarians and oligarchs who want to divide us. How does fascism come to America? It comes to America when we no longer care about information. Fascism is the result of propaganda.
We are waging a 21st century information warfare campaign against the left. It's like grassroots guerrilla warfare. Someone says something on social media, Musk retweets it. Rogan podcasts it.
These people will be moved to swing states, and that will be used to essentially rig those states and turn them blue forever.
Fox broadcasts it.
They want illegals to steal election, Sean.
And by the time it reaches everybody, millions of people have seen it.
Propaganda is effective in converting people from regular citizens in a pluralistic democracy into fascism worshipers, and so we must be fact worshipers at this time. The world is being destroyed by dickheads who are able to control the headlines and control the means of communication and tune the algorithms to have us at each other's throats at all times.
How come we're heading towards a recession now? Coming out of 2024, there was no talk of a recession. Now I hear it every week.
Egg and gas prices are the lowest they've been in 4 years.
Yeah,
that's a lie. First of all, that's a lie.
Trump cannot run a
That's
a fucking lie.
Yeah, it's not a fucking lie. Go look it up. Right? Go get educated. Prices low on
Can I say something?
So what are you going to do today? How are you going to fix the world today? How are you going to be a fact warrior?
Well, so how about it, gang? How are you going to be a fact warrior today? How are you going to fix the world today? And what's giving you hope at this time? We want to know. Rev Deuce played a wedding and hung out all late last night, and then he took the subway, and guess what? The subway doesn't work great on a Sunday night. And so Rev Deuce went too far in one direction, looked up at one point, saw his train that he was on while he was listening to headphones, was actually going to skip his home and go far in a different direction. And then because it was 1:30 a.m., Rev Deuce had to sit. I mean, he could have spent the money to go home faster, but at that point, whatever, you know? And so Rev Deuce is here, and he's deliriously tired and hungover, and he can't wait to talk to you about the news for hours. Because that's what we do here. We do it whether we are hungover or not. And so that's me admitting I'm hungover. So we played a wedding, my band, Big Jeans. Someone wanted us to play their wedding. And so we did. And it was great. We debuted a song called Dreamcatcher, and it's an incredible song. And so thank you, Madison, for telling us what a banger of a vid that was. It took me way too long, but I think it's cool. And really, ultimately, the biggest point from there is that series where we have Jesse Waters saying that stuff. And then we show the actual thing happening right there. And so that's all that you need to know about that. So if you want to see pictures of Rev Deuce at the wedding, you can go to Big Jeans on Instagram. Big Jeans has an Instagram account. So we want to know, we on Substack, we call this like Hope and News. That sounds great, Madison. Hell yeah. We're calling this Hope and News today on Substack. And what gives you hope at this time? Is there any hope? Do you have some hope? Because, you know, it's possible to have hope. It really is. And so, you know, we look at our friends and our neighbors and our loved ones. We look at some of the things that some of our politicians are doing to stand back. We look at things like the boss, Bruce Springsteen. Did you know he plays long shows? That's what everyone can't stop saying about Bruce Springsteen. He plays really long shows. Well, Bruce Springsteen is talking, speaking out. And guess what? If people weren't speaking out, right? You know, celebrities are such little babies often, and that's okay. They're doing the best they can with what they have. But if you had millions and millions of dollars and you were living in a country that was filling up with fascism faster than you could say, my country's filling up with fascism, wouldn't you say something? Wouldn't you use your power and your voice to say something? I don't know. Any Swifties out there? Is Taylor Swift saying anything? If you had hundreds of millions of dollars and your country was on a path towards, and you had the resources to access experts, right? Let's not give each other excuses like Taylor Swift or any celebrity. I mean, I'm not ragging on Taylor Swift, but if you have access to resources, just because you're rich and famous doesn't mean that you have to not be civically engaged. It doesn't mean that you can't be civically engaged. Yeah, see, Jason makes the point in Substack, he doesn't have millions of dollars and he's trying to do a town hall. He's trying to get one going, and so we look to celebrities, though, in this time to say something. And so when someone does say something, and of course you could expect the old boss to say something, but so Donald Trump hates it. And the fascist program hates it. Why? Because the fascist program cannot succeed if people realize that the emperor has no clothes. You know what I mean? The emperor has to have clothes for fascism to succeed. And right now the emperor has no clothes, and Bruce Springsteen is making that point. Okay, this is hilarious. I just saw someone say something on Blue Sky, and I was like, oh, Trump said something. He pushed back on Bruce Springsteen. I did not know that Trump was calling for a major investigation into Bruce Springsteen. A major investigation into what? Let's read this. The Independent is just okay. It's not my go-to information source, but let's just read this. Trump calls for major investigation into Bruce Springsteen after singer brands him incompetent. Trump went on a diatribe. So, even right here with this, hey, bathrobe guy, how are you today? What a baby back. Jason says, what a baby back bitch. What does that mean? Is there an Applebee's part to this rant? Or Chili's? Let's see. Trump calls for major investigation. So already, let's just talk about this headline, gang, because we care about information and our information ecosystem. Donald Trump's, we can't act like the horse is out of the barn, even though all the horses are 9 million light years away from the barn. Donald Trump's diatribe comes just days after Bruce Springsteen told an audience that he believed the current U.S. administration was corrupt, incompetent, and treasonous. Now, there's a reality where this headline could be written in a way, excuse me for the snorts and snorbles, it's a Delco thing. I don't know what that means. So you could say when Bruce Springsteen pointed out Donald Trump's corruption. Donald Trump is corrupt. Donald Trump is definitionally corrupt. The things that he is doing in the Middle East are definitionally corrupt. The things that Zach Witkoff, on behalf of his father and on behalf of Trump, are doing are corrupt. You could just say, the Independent could just say that Bruce Springsteen told an audience, pointed out to an audience that Bruce Springsteen is horrifically corrupt. A Delco thing. But what is Delco? I don't know what Delco is. They're calling, in Substack, they're saying it's a Delco thing. So what is this investigation? A major investigation into music icon Bruce. So it's a Truth Social post suggested that his 2024 rival Kamala could have paid Springsteen for an illegal campaign contribution during the presidential election last year without providing any evidence. What? Beyonce, Oprah, and Bono could be investigated over their dealings. I mean, look, dude, Oprah's on your side, man. She created Dr. Spockter. What's his name? Dr. Phil. She created Dr. Phil. She created Mehmet Oz, Dr. Oz. So Oprah's your pal, dude. Could have investigated over his dealings with Harris, all of whom either endorsed Trump's. The funniest thing about Oprah is Delaware County, Pennsylvania. You call someone a baby back bitch. In Delaware, I guess in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, you just call people baby back bitches. That's hilarious. What does that even? What, you baby back bitch? Do you do that like at the gas station if there's like a dispute? That's so funny, baby back bitch. Alliteration is beautiful. You know what gives me hope today? We haven't had too many people write any hope. He's not even a real boss. He's not even a real boss. You guys are so funny. So, oh, I got distracted, baby back bitch. How much did Kamala Harris pay Bruce Springsteen? All caps. Like, what is going on? Donald Trump is such a weird child. And that's okay. He's doing the best he can with what he has. He just has no skill other than lying and being corrupt and being gross to young children and women. It's what's going on, everybody. Wow. Oh, right. That's me. I'm supposed to tell you what's going on. So what's going on is that it's their information ecosystem. Do you remember? No, what round table? Trump rambled on at a round table. I'm going to call for a major investigation into this matter. Candidates aren't allowed to pay for endorsements. Oh, Donald Trump is getting out in front of his once in an eon corruption, which is what Kamala did under the guise of paying for entertainment. In addition, this was a very expensive and desperate effort to artificially build up her sparse crowds. If Biden had accepted a $400 million plane from Qatar, what would Trump's tweets look like? You know? So Madison is saying, did you see him ramble at that round table, make literally 0 sense and sounded exactly like my dementia-ridden grandpa? Trump rambles round table. And then we're going to get into some news, everybody. This is called the slow open. I learned you need sections to your live stream. This is called the slow open, okay? I don't see it. Trump rambles roundtable Middle East. How's everybody doing? What's giving you hope? Nobody wants to say? Where's the organ? What happened to the organ? Why isn't it playing? Do you guys notice there's no organ? What is that? I don't know. Oh. You saw it all over social media. Is it this?
Thank you very much, everybody. I want to just thank you for being with us, and I assume the press is ready. We have a Pulitzer Prize winning photographer. Unfortunately, he gets it for a shot at the year. Someday you'll get it for something nice.
This is it. So this is the whole 27-minute thing. So it says, during the event, he discussed various business deals and investments. And thank you. Jason said that I give him hope. And that makes me feel very good, Jason. And you give me hope. Putting together a round table, being civically engaged where you are, that's so special and important at this time. So during the event, he discussed various business deals and investments being between the United States and Qatar. Welcome back, Qatar. Notably, Qatar Airways signed an agreement to purchase lots of jets. In addition, delivered remarks to the U.S. troops for more context on this. Okay. All right, hold on. Show me clips. Show me clips from Aaron Rupar of Trump's roundtable remarks in Doha on May 15th. Let's see how good this Chat GPT is, you know what I mean? And then let's get into the news, because I got only 35 more minutes and then I'm going to go to TikTok. Do I even have it in me for TikTok today? All right, well, I'm chasing this rabbit hole. So, Madison, if you have some clips, send them to me, and I'm going to move on to the news with Deuce. That's what we're going to do. What did Deuce even put in his little thing over the weekend? Deuce does not remember. The Deuce does not remember. Do you smell what the Deuce is cooking? Okay. Let's get into it, everybody. Oh, this was dumb. We talked about this last time. Hold on. We might have to do a little abort ski. What? Might have to do a refresh ski. Uno segundo, por favor. Your friend Deuce is hungover. So that's the no. What's this? Did we do this already? Did y'all see this? I don't think you did. This is the woman who goes, I could do this all day, Jay.
Will there be this expedited path available to the Congolese and to the Sudanese who are facing actual genocide?
Again, Victor, 8,666 individuals have been granted
You
asylum.
have a specific number on asylum. How many of those are from the Congo or from the Sudan?
I'm happy to come back next week and lay out all the single facts, but the fact that you have not addressed the fact that we have helped these individuals who are facing persecution, and you seem to want to whitewash the fact that South Afrikaners are facing persecution, and I can't understand why, and I think a lot of Americans can't understand why, and it's left to believe that it's because of the color of their skin, Victor.
So you suggest that I am the one here who is focused on color of skin when the president has let in Afrikaners specifically, and I'm asking how many of those who are actually facing genocide, who are from the Sudan and who are from Congo, who are being let in under some expedited path that the president has created for Afrikaners.
I don't know how many times I have to repeat this fact. 8,666 individuals have, if you will let me speak, have
You've
faced
repeated the number, you haven't answered the question.
I'm exactly answering the question. Regardless of color or creed, we will allow you into this country if you are facing persecution and you go through the proper vetting. You can be from the Congo, you can be from Rwanda. We are letting those in who are facing persecution, Victor.
I'll look for those numbers. Let's talk.
Victor's going to look for those numbers, everyone. Don't hold your breath. How fascinating.
Donald Trump is becoming increasingly incoherent, as was on display for the world yesterday at a roundtable in Qatar. He rambled for more than 25 straight minutes in a nonsensical fashion. Now, sometimes...
Now, who's this person who's working on their Jeff Goldblum impression?
When one is listening to Trump, the sound of his voice makes it hard to focus on the actual words. So I just want to read you a small verbatim transcript of just a section of what he was saying at this roundtable. These are the literal words of the President of the United States. When you look at what's happening with Russia and Ukraine, the drone is killing tremendous numbers of people. You hide behind a tree and the drone comes down and it circles you with fire. You don't have a chance, and the tree comes down also, by the way. It's so intense, you see these trees being knocked down like they're being sawed down by a top-of-the-line timberman, like, you know who? Sean Duffy. You know that, Sean Duffy, the head of the transportation department, who's working right now on the airports and getting a system because Biden didn't do a thing for 4 years, and Pete Buttigieg was the head, and he goes bicycling to work. He takes a bicycle to work. Can you believe it? He's head. He's running the biggest air system in the world, and he takes a bicycle to work. And they say he's going to run for president. I don't see it. Who knows, right? But I don't see it. But when I look at what they've done, it's so horrible what they've done. And the work they did do, they wasted billions of dollars. They tried to hook up air systems to copper. They tried to hook up copper to glass, and the glass doesn't work with the copper. And they had 30,000 different contractors doing 30,000 jobs. And when they put it all together, they spent billions of dollars. It didn't even come close to working, and we were going to be giving out a brand new system. It's very important. We'll have the best system, and we think we know who that system is, but we have...
I'm going to pause this. So do you know what really the thing is that's going on here? So there's a couple things going on. So first of all, Donald Trump is already corrupt. Donald Trump is already unfit. Donald Trump, whether he was cogent or not cogent, is currently cogent or is not currently cogent, has been unfit and corrupt the entire time since before 2015 when he decided to run for office. Donald Trump has been corrupt the entire time going back to the 80s. Donald Trump has been racist and corrupt the entire time going back to the 70s when he and his father were sanctioned by the government. The attacks of woke and all that stuff, they existed in some form, but not in the form of using those words and such today. And so Donald Trump, during a quote unquote regular time when the government was doing things regularly, this is for my bag of friends and loved ones, Donald Trump was already discriminating against black people in the housing that he and his father owned. Donald Trump was already womanizing and owning pageants and walking into the dressing rooms of underage girls and then bragging about it years later on the Howard Stern show. Donald Trump was already saying disgusting things about his daughter and other children. Decades ago, Donald Trump was already a corrupt individual, bankrupting casinos to, rig our financial system in his favor, not rig it in his favor, but take advantage of our financial system, basically running a mafia type schemes. Donald Trump was already corrupt when he, built his buildings with cement instead of other things because he could take advantage of the labor force of, I believe it was certain Eastern Europeans, maybe Polish laborers. So he made deals for cement in the 80s. Donald Trump was already corrupt and unfit when it was reported that his wife Ivana told a reporter in Vanity Fair that Donald Trump had a book of Adolf Hitler's speeches at his bedside table when she accused him of marital sexual assault and then took it back. If that was one incident in the life of Donald Trump, you might say, that sounds really scary. And of course, we believe women, but that was one incident or whatever. There are countless incidents of him bragging about and also being found liable in a court with a jury, not of Marxist socialists, MAGA guys and gals, but a jury of just regular Americans, some of whom were fans of Donald Trump. So I'm just going to stop this video where it is because it doesn't, honestly, ideas like this, I feel, Deuce feels perpetuates just like this idea that if only we get him for one more thing, he's already corrupt and already is unfit for office. And always has been. And then we just want to point out that Courier Newsroom is a fact-based newsroom. They are associated with the Democratic Party. that's okay. Like, there needs to be an all hands on deck approach and response to the fascism in this country. And so if, Tara McGowan wants to create Courier Newsroom and get progressive fact-based newsrooms all around the country, that's cool. And we need that. But we also do need to understand that Courier specifically has a relationship with the Democratic Party. And, if they were spreading disinformation, I would say that's not okay at all. What I would say mostly is important is to understand that is the deal of Courier Newsroom. And so everything has a bias. There's no such thing as objectivity. Now, we greatly disagree with the young man, Andrew Callahan, who was in an interview recently talking about how Fox is mainstream media. Yes, it is mainstream in the sense of lots of people watch it and it is impactful on our society, but it is a purpose-built manipulation machine. Then I would say you need to categorize that as something not as mainstream media. And maybe I can find that Andrew Callahan video. So let's keep going through the news with Deuce. What is this? Oh no.
South Africans, Afrikaners, to the United States despite the increased restrictions on refugees. President Trump claims there's a genocide underway in South Africa. That's a legal determination. The State Department would make it. Are you trying to determine that now?
I would determine that these people are having their properties taken from them. They can call it whatever they want, but these are people that on the basis of their race are having their properties taken away from them and their lives being threatened and in some cases killed. These are people that applied and made these claims in their applications and seek to come to the United States in search of refuge. We've often been lectured by people all over the place about how the United States needs to continue to be a beacon for those who are oppressed abroad. Mm-hmm. Well, here's an example where we're doing that. So I don't understand why people are criticizing it. I think people should be...
So we looked into this last week a little bit, and the reality is that in South Africa, there is just a wildly rampant crime problem that affects everyone, not just white people. So the claims of people being murdered, no one is really being murdered for their race, as far as any reporting that I've seen it says. Now, we have to understand that our administration is a post-truth administration. Our administration is a propaganda administration. So we can't just take anything that they say at face value. And our mainstream media is not doing the job necessary to let us know. Like, I don't know how this interview goes with Margaret Brennan, but does she say, I mean, the other guy, there is no definition applied to South Africa right now for genocide. That's not happening. There's no bodies internationally are saying that there is a genocide happening. When genocides happen, they say it wherever it is. There's no bias in the application of the genocide thing. There's no anti-white, anti-Christian, or whatever kind of bias MAGA wants to make up. But so, are Afrikaners having their property seized because of their race in South Africa? Now, I do not advise listening to ChatGPT. I'm an information nutritionist, and so I know what to look for. So anytime ChatGPT gives you an answer, you want to go and look at the sources and all of that kind of stuff. No, Afrikaners in South Africa are not having their property seized because of their race. In January 2025, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa signed the Expropriation Act. The legislation allows for land expropriation without compensation under specific, narrowly defined circumstances, such as when land is abandoned, unused, or held purely for speculative purposes. The law includes provisions for judicial oversight and adheres to constitutional guidelines. So, okay, there's judicial oversight, ensuring that any expropriation is conducted lawfully and in the public interest. As of now, there have been no documented cases of land being expropriated under this act. Okay, so we have sources here. International reactions. Trump just brought a group of white South Africans. What are they escaping? Okay, if this article by the AP talks about this and explains, and then this is the headline, that is a real disservice to the public. Why Trump talks about a genocide in South Africa. Okay, New Yorker article. Are we not going to be able to read this? Your window is closing. Okay, well, that's a shame. So let's go to this WHYY. Okay, we're going to read into this a little bit more because, you know, mainstream media has to do a much better job of pushing back on these narratives if they're not true. Trump just brought a group. What are they escaping? Oh, this relies. Okay, so this WHYY relies on the AP reporting. Okay, well, U.S. President Donald Trump says blah, 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 and there's a genocide. Here we go. So he brought over 59 South Africans. South Africa says there's no persecution. They say it's completely false. There are 2.7 million Afrikaners. Yeah, those are the white Dutch descendants of colonizers. So farm attacks. Trump have accused the South African government of having racist anti-white laws and policies, but the claims of persecution and genocide center on a relatively small number of violent farm attacks and robberies on white people in rural communities. The U.S. alleges those attacks are racially motivated, and South African government is fueling them by allowing anti-white rhetoric in politics and not doing enough to protect Afrikaner communities. The government has condemned the farm attacks, but says their cause is being deliberately mischaracterized. So I think maybe they'll say this number. There's something like 20,000 homicides a year in South Africa. Violent attacks on farm owners in South Africa have been a problem for years, but represent a small percentage of the country's extremely high violent crime rates, which affect all races. The government says there's no targeting of white people, and farm attacks are part of its struggle with crime. So anyone can say, oh, these people are victims of a... Right, if I get mugged, I could go and say, well, white people are under attack in America. White people are under attack in New York City, okay? Even though it looks like I'm in Boca Raton, beaming to you live from the beach, I'm actually in New York City. If I got mugged in New York City, I could go, if I had a big platform, I could say, white people are under attack. And then I could use just my one situation, and I could say, I personally was attacked. Can you believe it? So many people are being attacked. It happens every day. I see it every day. And then I can go on a TV station, just like little Marco Rubio over here, and I could say whatever it is I want. And so if nobody in mainstream media is pushing back and saying forcefully that, hey, these are lies, hey, this is bullshit, then it just goes into the ether, and then we see our friends and MAGA loved ones who are just, they go, are you kidding me? You don't see, what are your, you're not, what are you, you're brainwashed, man. That's what they do. You're brainwashed, man. Knee Blockable says, I have no issue taking South African refugees, but it does seem hypocritical. Well, especially when, as we saw this other gentleman point out earlier, is there are actual declared genocides in other countries.
You clearly are not going to acknowledge there's no genocide in South Africa. What about the genocide in the Congo? Will there be this expedited path available to the Congolese and to the Sudanese who are facing actual genocide?
You know what I mean? So that's a great question. That's a great question on CNN. Look, CNN has fact-based journalism plenty of the time, everybody. It's not, we should not be using cable news as our main diet of information. It's the low-quality information diet because it most of its programs are sensationalism and panels erupting so that your eyeballs stay. It doesn't cover nearly as much diverse and range of opinions and actual news about the world. You're not going to find about labor news there. You're not going to find all kinds of things. It's not going to be reporting in the public interest the way high quality nonprofit or independent media might do. Wait, where are we? So this right now, there's a lot of this, like there's a lot lack in this Associated Press article of definitively saying they're saying, oh, the government says that it's not, and then Trump says that it is. Well, which is it? You know what I mean? Just tell us. The Trump administration has also criticized South Africa's affirmative action policies as racist against whites, and has falsely claimed white South Africans are having their land taken away by the government under a new expropriation law. You know, where was Donald Trump and where was Ronald Reagan, you know, when this was happening to black people forever? You know what I mean? No land has been expropriated, but Afrikaners who make up many rural communities have raised fears their land might be targeted, right? This is like the same rhetoric as like they're going to take your guns. You know, like, oh, they might racially motivated come for their land in the future. And so we have to prioritize these white South Afrikaners. You know, the thing is it's really just mostly a PR move for their base. Okay, so we don't find this WHYY to be like very satisfying, this Associated Press. So let's do like fact check, genocide, South Africa. Now this is probably going to piss me off. This fact check is probably going to be like mostly false. Okay, so we like to consult factcheck.org. It is from the Annenberg School at UPenn. So Trump's reason was because they're being killed and we don't want to see people killed. But if you understand with the dynamics of South Africa, lots of people are being killed and it has nothing to do with their race. Most of the violent acts are committed during robberies in a country where most of the wealth and land post-apartheid is still owned by a relatively small white minority. So political scientist in Paris says, yes, white farmers are being killed. However, there is nothing like a white genocide, and the issue needs to be seen in the broader context of a country plagued by crime and gang activity. Now, yes, it is true that people fleeing in South America, they come and they seek asylum, and they seek asylum based on their country being plagued by crime and gang activity. Yes, that is true. But no one is saying that there is a genocide happening. You know, there are white people who live in South America, and for some reason the Trump administration is not claiming there is a genocide happening in Venezuela or these other countries, right? We also know that several of the billionaires in Trump's orbit, David Sachs, Elon Musk, are South African. Although police statistics are imprecise on the issue, there have been about 50 farm murders per year over the last several years. Okay, so I think we can put this one to bed. There is no genocide in South Africa, and yet, you know, what is the mainstream media doing to push back against that absurd rhetoric coming from our seat of power? Pardon tracker, pardon Capitol rioters profiting from January 6th. We wanted people to see this. What will we do? We'll restack this. Oh, I already did. So go follow all of our accounts to be able to be fact warriors, to share all of this information. That's what this is really all about, is you being enlightened in this space. And so you then going and spreading facts, because we are fact warriors here. We worship facts in fact, because that is the only way that's going to fix this whole effed up scenario. Why do we have fascism in America? We have fascism in America because of propaganda. propaganda is what fuels fascism. Fascism doesn't work unless there's propaganda. You know what I mean? Do we get that? If you get that and you want to call it and talk about how much you get that, I would love for you to call it and talk about how much you get that. And if you are watching on Substack, we invite you to come over to Twitch where the water is warm. We would love for you to be in the Twitch tub with us because that is where we get our jollies. I don't know why I said that, but that is where we get more followers. We need more followers on Twitch. We're so close. Rev Deuce has yet to reach out to his friends and loved ones to say, you gotta start getting on my program. And that's my own fault. I like to do this to as few people as possible, and I don't want to do it to millions of people. That's a lie. I do. So they are starting to profit. The Capitol rioters are starting to profit. Now, look at this. This is what it is.
Mainstream media.
Watch
in
this.
Deference to my progressive.
I call it liberal media.
Yeah, I don't.
Not
in
leftist
deference
media.
to like Amy Goodman and Democracy Now! And people who really are progressive media, mainstream media, and then there's absolute right-wing media, and.
So you don't consider Fox mainstream media?
Not when you got Tucker Carlson saying that.
It's mainstream media.
Well, considered so by people at more media.
Fox is
leaning
definitely
to the right.
mainstream media.
Yeah. But they lie. How's that mainstream?
So I don't really understand the reaction. I don't really understand the reaction here. And I also don't understand the debate. So he's obsessed with saying that Fox is mainstream media. Okay, so if I was the interviewer, I would say, okay, sure. Like, are you saying, like, why are you saying that, right? Like, this woman, I know this woman is a famous NPR type person on I think this is like the Boston NPR. But this is a weird conversation. But then he laughs and everyone else laughs. Because I guess the assumption is that like everyone in mainstream media is lying, and I think that's very dangerous way to go about your world and your life and your day.
No, I mean, I might be old school, Cynthia, but if I lie on NPR, knowingly lie on NPR, I detonate.
It's not about truth versus lies. It's about punditry versus reporting. So if you turn on.
So this is weird. It is about truth versus lies. And he says it's about punditry versus reporting. Now, if you don't know who Andrew Callahan is, he got famous doing this thing called All Gas, No Brakes, which was a YouTube program where he went around the country and did high production value, lots of editing of his interviews and his time spent. It was almost like cinema verite documentary, like Gonzo style, and entertaining stuff, revealing like these different smaller communities in America with lots of like crazy characters, lots of like just weird stuff. He'd go to random festivals, he'd go to like flat earther conventions and all this kind of thing. And now he has his own show on YouTube called Channel 5 News, and that's just who he is. But this idea, it's about punditry versus, what did he say? Punditry versus, what did he say?
On any mainstream media. First of all, mainstream media is.
Sorry, everybody.
You call it the left. I call it mainstream media in deference to my progressive.
I call it liberal media.
Yeah, I don't.
Not
in
leftist
deference
media.
to like Amy Goodman and Democracy Now! And people who really are progressive media, mainstream media, and then there's absolute right-wing media, and.
So you don't consider Fox mainstream media?
Not when you got Tucker Carlson saying that.
It's mainstream media.
Well, considered so by people at more media.
Fox is
leaning to
definitely
the right.
mainstream media.
Yeah, but they lie. How's that mainstream?
So he says this is ridiculous. He looks at the camera, but like, what's ridiculous about that? Is it because, does everyone think that that's because everyone in the audience laughing thinks that everyone in mainstream media lies?
I might be old school, Cynthia, but if I lie on NPR, knowingly lie on NPR, I I like
It's
detonate.
it's not about truth versus lies. It's about punditry versus reporting. So if you turn on any mainstream media news, first of all,
So, but I think it's not about truth versus lies, it's about punditry versus reporting. It sounds like he thinks reporting is truth and punditry is lies. So this is very confusing to
mainstream
me.
media is cable news. So that includes Fox. It includes...
And then the clip is over. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting. You know, like, who is talking about media in America? It's ladies like this lady who's on WBUR in Boston. It's people like me, and it's people like Andrew Callahan. Those are the only people talking about our media ecosystem with any kind of regularity. Andrew Callahan talks about that a lot in his stuff. And Knee Blockable, we'd love to understand what these social issues worth dropping Andrew Callahan for are. And I mean, I don't lift him up really. And what scares me is the way he talks about ground news to everyone. Because ground news, I think, is ultimately not a solution to our problems. It is a perpetuator of our problems with the way that it frames what it means to understand our news and our news ecosystem. Yes, and. So let's keep going through the news with Deuce. Deuce is so excited to have realized that these are fresh. These are fresh. He's not excited about what's on the screen right now, though. That's for sure. So this is some... you know what? Oh, this is why I had this. I wanted to see if this was just a small person or if this was actually a child. And I wanted to look into this because, look, inflammatory content can be everywhere. This is the second. So this is Michael Burton. Who is that? Michelle Burton, mom of two. I'm educated, intelligent, woke, and say what I mean. I was born a warrior. Okay, now this is like kind of suspicious of an account. Nail his ass, Jack Smith. This looks kind of like a fake account in so many ways to me. And so they have this piece of information. For some reason, there's like this old hip hop tune in the background. And it says, America isn't rising under Trump, it's unraveling. And it claims
remain silent. Just make sure you remain silent, okay? Don't answer any questions. Just say, plead the fifth.
What does it say on the side of the vehicle? So, is this an adult who's just very short? It could be. But the claim is that this is like a child and that ICE is taking away children. Okay. Do you see? So what is this, right? This is the second I've been detained by police. What WTF did she do to warrant this mistreatment? And so there's all this exclamatory, everyone's going nuts in the comments, right? What county is this? Clark County. Okay, now we're going to look into this. What is this even, right? We just see things online and we're meant to like freak out about them. So we're going to look at this for 2 shakes and then we're going to go and check out what's going on TikTok. And if you enjoyed the program today's program was a little free form, but isn't it always? But so we are fact warriors here, and so we care about our information ecosystem. If you are an old school head here, you know about the tools that we've created so that you can use them to spread fact-based information at all times. And if you want to know about those tools, I can tell you, or you can root around in publicenlightenment.com. So just DM me and I'll tell you about those tools. DM your old pal Deuce, wherever you are, and Deuce will tell you because he's got to keep going through the news. So what is happening in a video circulating on social media of a small person claimed to be a child being arrested by a Clark County sheriff? How do you spell sheriff? Oh no. Is it with 2 F's and 1 R? Oh no, I don't know how to spell sheriff. I don't know how to spell sheriff. Oh my God. That's terrible. Did I spell it right? Oh, God, Madison, no. A video circulating on social media depicts a Clark County's deputy interacting with a small individual, leading to claims that a child was arrested. However, the Clark County Sheriff's Office, and of course we should always be suspicious of police telling journalists information, and now that's where ChatGPT would have gotten this. Thank you for everyone who's correcting my spelling. They said that the individual in question is not a child. Right? We never see this person's face. They clarified that the person is an adult of short stature and that the arrest was conducted lawfully. The sheriff's office emphasized that misinformation has been spreading due to the individual's appearance, but confirmed that no child was arrested in this incident. It's important to verify such claims. So the source is Facebook for this whole thing. Oof. There's no other source? Do you have more sources from reputable news outlets for this Clark County arrest story? Oop, I guess I have it to not automatically. So if you enjoyed the program today, please keep telling everyone. We started the program with this incredible video from Rev Deuce. Okay, so this is one that we have to say we don't know anything about. Instagram. This is Instagram. This is Instagram fact-checking a viral video. What is even this? Oh, okay. So this person was... This is also the incident. This is what that person was wearing. So I guess they were trying to jaywalk or something. Here are the facts. April 1st, 2025. A deputy saw someone crossing this street, a busy intersection with no crosswalk. Provided a name that did not return any records. After investigation, the 27-year-old woman matching her to prior booking photos. She was not arrested. What is the source of this? Okay, we're just going to leave this up in the air. This is how Rev Deuce does it. He's not going to tell you anything emphatically, but that is that individual. That is exactly what she was wearing, the same height of boots and everything like that. So, and then so you may find yourself on Substack. We're not saying we've definitively reached a thing, but so you find yourself on Substack or anywhere and you see this video and it's like, informational edge. Yo, you guys are freaks. Madison, what are you talking about? That's for the Only Facts account where we practice effaculation. But so do you see, everybody, how much of a minefield it is out there? This, I will say, based on the manner of dress, this did not read as a child to me, but it is just like, and then look at these comments, like, these Nazis with badges, America is a disgrace, time to fix this ish now. And then the poster saying, time for us to get serious. Now let's look at this account really quick, just because Deuces, they have 9.5 thousand subscribers. Why does it Rev Deuce? Extortion is his middle name. Can't Congress freeze his assets? He still hasn't paid E. Jean Carroll. Can someone please tell me? I mean, they're posting Jess Craven. Jess Craven's reputable. Hey, MAGA, is this making America great? 4 billion aluminum facility. Okay. So this is just like a big time, just like sensationalism account. I mean, I don't disagree with some of this messaging, but anyway, so, you never know what you're going to see on an account like this. All right, everybody. So this has been our program for the day, and I'm so grateful for all of you. We're going to go over to TikTok and see if we can't use our brain to spell things wrong. What is this? Oh, this was just funny. We're going to end on this.
If that was intentional and they were trying to jizz up some type of coup or some type of insurrection, as Jamie Raskin would say, or whatever. Yeah. Look.
Just, speaking of informational edging, Comer said that James Comey was trying to jizz up a coup. Okay, so all right, I'm just going to leave it at that. That's how we're ending the program today. Madison, you are out of your mind today. I love it. That's so funny. So we're going to go try to jizz up a good time on TikTok, and I'm so grateful for all of you. This has been a loose one today. Sometimes we start the day a little loose. We're grateful for everyone who joined us on Substack. We're grateful for everyone who joined us on YouTube. We're grateful for everyone who joined us on Twitch, and we're grateful for everyone who continues to be a fan of the program. Reminder that you can go to our YouTube and you can show this video to everyone. What are we at? We're at 21 views. What's going on, gang? Okay, you need to email 5 million people and show them this video of ours that's on YouTube.
We are here to worship facts and reject the lies that are meant to divide.
It's become the trailer for this program, and we're grateful for you for sharing it with everyone. I think that me sitting next to me in the same scene of me looks really good right now, and I love that. So how will you be a fact warrior today? How will you spread fact-based information that aligns with democracy in the face of fascism? It is literally the only way that we could get out of what we are in. So I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for everyone who was in the space today. And, I love it. I love it. So I want some more of it. So I'm going over to TikTok. And here we go. We're going to the TikTok machine. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll have so much good fun. And we'll keep growing this thing and tell everyone you know about the Mega Church of Joy and about how we work on our connection to other human beings in the face of the messages from the giant dickheads in the sky who want to destroy our ability to connect and then therefore our ability to have joy. And so how do we do anything about that? We fight with facts in a world of lies. Yes, and we worship facts and we reject lies. Yes, and we love one another. Hey, yo, Kilala Kitty, hell yeah, did that just happen? What incredible. This says 5 days ago. Yo, thank you so much. This is amazing. I need to make some bits and bobbles that make noises when you do that. And you've got a little sword next to your name and a check mark. We're so grateful to Kilala Kitty who is donating to the program. Yes, and that is what we really are about. This is just a grift. You know, all these people, they like to sell nicotine as a health aid, and they do all these things that are such easier grifts. No, this grift, okay, this grift is I just spent years becoming an expert on information and our information ecosystem. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to trick them all. I'm going to trick them all into not only learning more about our information ecosystem and saving America from disinformation with high quality fact-based information, but I'm also going to get them to give me money. So Kilala Kitty, we are so grateful for you, and you are a special person and you are a beautiful person. And how will you make others appear as rock stars today, just as you made Rev Deuce appear as a rock star? He's feeling so good about himself as he makes his way to the TikTok machine. He's so grateful for you and everyone who supports the program and supports humanity by telling people fact-based things about the world. You know, what's the crime rate? How are we solving poverty? You know, how are Trump's policies putting more people into poverty? What's going on with the 2 million plus caged individuals in America, the largest caged population in the world? You know, what are these questions we're really asking when what's happening in our mainstream mess and our right-wing disinformation ecosystem is bullshit about trans people and their ability to just survive in life, right? That's not our biggest problem, is it? Not at all. No siree, Bob. And that's right. We need to make a video today about that young lady, that freshman in Maine who was brave enough to stand up to the disinformation, propaganda, bullshit, culture war bullshit when she ran a race in a cross-country setting as a freshman in high school, and she lost to a trans-identifying athlete. And she said, I had a great day. I was so full of hope, and all I see in this situation is a bully, the representative in Congress of her area or of her, somewhere in her state, coming out and turning a fun day, a happy day where she ran her personal best. And yes, another athlete beat her, but who cares, said this little girl. She said, I saw a bully, this person, ruin a great day for everyone by injecting like hateful politics into just kids trying to be athletes and enjoy life and be athletic and be healthy and run. So that's the message we'll end on today. I'm so grateful for all of you, especially new folks in Substack. Keep watching the program. We're going to be on TikTok. We'll be there in just 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. We'll see you over there. Have a great day. Be a fact warrior. Worship facts at all times, like this young lady who is so cool and is probably the most appreciated person in her community. Be anti-Steve Bannon at all times. Look at Steve Bannon flooding everyone's zone with shit. What a total jerk bag. And so be a fact warrior today, okay? I love you all so much. I'm so grateful for you. And we will catch you on the flip side. Show people these shows. I don't know. They're somewhere. They're on YouTube. They're all over the place. So, and I post them also to the Substack. So have a great day. I love you all very much. And we'll see you when we smell you. That doesn't make sense.